them. They seem to be enjoying that Tyrael lately. I want to see what's going to be in that top lane, though, because Alex and Prodigy, while he can play Dahaka, he's been a little bit more towards the Arthas Blaze route instead.
I just want to see them ban our Tracer. They ban Abathur every time. Trick always bans Abathur, but they haven't played on this map yet. Abathur, on the other hand, is again great on Towers of Doom, and they ban him out once more, which means that if they don't pick Tracer early on, there's a good chance that Method is going to do the exact same thing that they did on the last map, picking Tracer Malfurion. Because, as I said, Method played 3 times on the map. They lost twice. Guess which combo they played in the game they won?
I wonder what.
Yeah. So they will most likely go straight for Tracer again if they get that shot. And I mean, Trick has to know that.
Well, Method thinking about banging out that Blaze, which will change up that top lane for Trick Esport. What will Alex Prodigy play for that side lane? Will be the Dahaka. Seen him in Leework in the past. Tyrael will be an option and one that he's shown. Remember, you usually can pick up a main tank if he needs to.
Blaze would be a good ban here, especially since they usually love to play the Dahaka game.
Yeah. Arcane have been doing well. It's great on this battleground. Can't say no to Dahaka.
They haven't played Blaze on this one yet either. Again, they don't have too many maps on the map, but yeah, Blaze gets banned out. So, let's see, how is Trick reacting? Are we going to see an early pick on Tracer, for example? Are they maybe trying to get Malfurion here and take it away from the Tracer composition? And they take Tracer themselves. Alright, that makes sense. If you don't, I like that. If you don't ban her out, take it for yourself.
And Method instantly responds back with Uther Genji themselves. So Genji becoming a little bit more prevalent today, with Tracer being on the field.
I mean, it's understandable that they have such a quick pick, because at some point you are looking at it and you're like, okay, we're showing Tracer every game where we can play her. At one point, she's either going to be banned out or an opponent is taking her away. What do we do then? So the early picks that you see in any draft are oftentimes, I don't want to say like they're oftentimes scripted in the way that you already go down, okay, what are the options? What are the most likely scenarios that could happen here? And let's just react to that. They pick Tracer, okay, we have a double pick, we immediately go for Genji and Uther. So now Method reacting with it, and let's see what Trick is going to play. Malfurion would be an obvious choice for them right now, Malfurion and Tracer combo. And they could also start targeting maybe the top lane and go for their own top laner.
Which I'm really wondering if it's going to be that Tyrael. I really want to know. Anubak comes in here for Trick Esport, looking to be the main tank for Rimmer to run. Malfurion should be here. There it is. So Malfurion, Tracer, and Nubrak. Nice setup. Cocoon into a root. Pretty easy for Trick to set that up. Allows Tracer to be kind of free-falling, can do what you would like. Method, gonna be hovering the Tyrael ban. Thinking along the lines that we are. What will be the top lane for Alex Prodigy? His Arthas will still be up and available, but Arthas is a bit slower on rotations.
You know who's good at rotating?
The Oric.
Roaming Zool.
Roaming Zool is pretty good.
No, but Tyrael as a ban, I would either go for the Tyrael ban, or again, you could also ban out Arthas. I mean, Alex for the longest time was very synonymous with just playing Arthas every game, so he could serve the same purpose. I feel it comes down a bit to what else Method wants to play here. Personally, I think I would probably lean a bit more towards banning out Tyrael, but then again, they themselves might actually pick Tyrael just simply up for their own composition, because it would fit really well with what they have.
Dahaka banned out, keeping them away from Arcaner. But Tyrael's up now. They can go full dive if they would like.
Yeah.
It's not like it's something that we've seen Method shy away from.
I would like Tyrael on their end. With what they have, they can jump in with Tyrael, they have Genji with them, then they can draft even more aggression. We're coming back to talking about Greymane, but of course we've already seen that the teams have started to move away from Greymane. Not as highly picked anymore as we had before the rework.
But I feel like the Greymane fits here naturally against a Tracer, right? Go for the throat, still has its value. That wasn't changed.
Especially if you go for Tyrael. So yes, you don't have the poke potential from a distance anymore, but especially in Korea in 2017 as well, we've seen more focus on different builds with Greymane, where he goes into more melee, for example. So more focusing on walk and talents, and that's something you can still pull off. But they go for now into Chromie for Nick once again. And they have Tyrael. I mean, Tyrael was expected after they didn't ban him out. And now just Chromie for the backline.
Chromie poke, Genji kill. Plan there for Method. Trick will now have to figure out what they want to answer back with. What do they intend to control on that top lane? Arthas being down. Are we going to get that Leo from Trick? I mean, I'm thinking of all the options for an Alex Prodigy.
I expect something crazy.
Divas. Diva can be annoying against a Genji.
I expect something that just says Alex.
Alex Straza says Alex.
I mean, think about what happened when we asked, I think it was Maka about... Sorry, what?
I missed my joke. Alex Straza says Alex. It's in the name. See? I'll write it down. Alex.
Okay,
Straza.
I know that I'm not usually the guy that you ask for humor, but in which universe is that even?
That's pretty funny!
How is that funny?
I don't know, man. I thought it was funny. ETC and Li Ming.
Okay, let's put it like this. Yes, as the hero came out, it was funny, but you're so late to the joke.
I brought it back. I went full Daniel Tosh on that thing, man.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, Varian against a Tracer. We've been asking for this for weeks.
Yeah, we did. And ETC and Li Ming is not as crazy as I thought it would be. That is very meta. I expected that Alex flavor to come in. We talked with Maka about it, and we asked like, hey, Ragnaros and the Lava Wave, where did that come from? And he just starts laughing. It's like, well, it's just Alex.
It's just Alex.
And it's like, yeah, Alex has these things, and I mean, it works. So this time we have a very meta draft, and we finally see that Varian. We've been talking a lot about Varian going up against Tracer and starting to become more popular, or that he should be more popular now that Tracer is just back in the game. But of course, his biggest drawback is just the wave clear that he's lacking, where he oftentimes has a problem. And on this map now, they finally feel confidence to say, you know what? With this setup against Tracer, and especially with Chromie being behind her, we can now finally start and go straight into a combo around Varian.
Now, I'm kind of hoping it's ETC is going to be in that side lane. The ability to use Stage Dive to come in against a Chromie destroys any time traps that are nearby and puts a lot of pressure on her. And with ETC, you typically can power slide away from the fight if you get in trouble. So I want to see that aggression coming in from Trick Esports. Let's go to game number 2 here. We currently have Method up 1-0 as we head to Towers of Doom.
And starting to the left side of the map, we see Method with Arcana on Tyrael. We have Nick on Chromie, Ethereal on Varian, Curson on Uther, and Shrimpy on Genji.
On the right side, in the red, Trick Esport, Crosby playing Li Ming, Alex Aproji on ETC, Grandpa Kit playing Malfurion, Make on Tracer, and Rimmer will be your new Bragg player.
All right, let's see how this is actually going to work out for Trick. Currently, they're starting to move in with ETC going straight for Prog Rock. We have them in the middle of the map. They have a fair amount of CC that they can use between Nuburak, between ETC and Malfurion. And therefore, they want to brawl.
Want to scuffle here in the middle. The mid-clash. Important for the teams here. Impale goes down, but Chromie's already on the bottom, nice and set up. Getting ready to start on her quest, Time Walker's Pursuit. And nothing will unfold. Trick gets the middle lane pushing a little bit better, which allows for him to set up a gank. You see how Rimmer's anchoring here on the side, but a time trap reveals that he's in that area, making it easier for Method to rotate down.
Okay, so for now, up at the top lane, still that fight with ETC. I mean, the thing about ETC, of course, with the stage dive, as you pointed out earlier, is that he also then has the ability to get some global soak in. And stage dive is what we can expect. So in the long run, that can be another asset that they have, since this time the Haka is not available for Method.
What's funny is I'm kind of reminded of Alex last year when ETC was getting popular. Hang on, Varian taking some damage. Gonna be a bomb that pops off, but Thorough's gonna have to back up. Alex talked about his ETC and how much he hated playing the character because he just didn't quite get it. It just didn't work out for him. It felt like he stage dived in and he would get picked off. So I'm actually kind of interested. Such curious to see how he pulls off this ETC here, because I remember him actually being pretty dramatic about having to play the character whenever it popped up in 2017.
Yeah, Alex played him quite a bit in Hero League actually, and every single time when he did, he had some pretty funny stage dives where he was just saying like, yeah, I don't get this hero. So he was not really a big fan of it. Right now, Genji goes down first, so Trick goes in and is able to take the first kill of the game, so they're getting the first blood here.
The strength of Tracer. If you land that false bomb, if you're able to thread that needle and hit that timing, you get a kill. And that's what happened there. As Genji gets picked off, and Trick, they're keeping up with that push in the middle lane. They're actually moving straight in for some turrets, continuing to build up pulse bombs too. Big experience lead. They're about to hit 4 3/4, while Method is just right behind them, just now about to hit level 4.
Yeah, so they're going in once again. By the way, I have to make a quick correction. I actually mixed up two of the teams earlier. Trick is not out yet. They can still go to the Western Clash, but they need to win with a 3-1. So it wasn't one map that they need to lose. If they lose another map, then they're out.
Oh.
So they won the... I mixed up two teams that had the direct comparison. So if they actually lose... if they if they get a 3-0, they would be a map ahead. If they get a 3-1, they would be tied. But because they won the direct comparison, they would still go through.
So they have to 3-0 from now, basically, is what we're saying. We're not counting the first map.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just trying to save you, man. I'm just saving you. Well, Trick Esport, still with the hopes of Western Clash, continue to do their best here. As the 3 Elders spawn, 2 up for the grabbing, and Strict is positioned pretty well, but Genji in the middle to intercept that lead Ming, while the rest of the crew fights in the bottom.
Alright, 1 shot already fired. ETC is at the top. If they get 2, yep, Rimmer Baller gets a channel. Because they were still zoning out Shrimpy and he didn't want to go in too deep. So 2 shots fired. Method down 32 points on the core. Good start for Tricked. And they also have a lead in experience. So far, everything is working out well for them. And again, at this point, they can't lose another map.
Well, they got a good start this time.
The problem is really once that Ethereal hits his level 10, it's going to be so much harder for any hero on the side of Tricked Esports to really survive. And that it's not only a threat about Tracer, even though we of course home in on Tracer the most when we see a Varian on the map, since he is really swishy. But the same is true whenever you get your hands on Liming, for example. So that's really something where once 10 is hit, as long as Ethereal and Nick play together well and have that coordination down, where it's starting to become really, really rough for Tricked, especially since there's no cleanse available. That's the first problem. And also, we don't have any kind of panic button that they have. Even Nature's Cure, which by the way hasn't even been taken, doesn't help you against the taunt on Varian's side.
We've seen Tracer of the past dance around, and Li Ming just play safe to be alright, but it's definitely a big matchup that you have to be careful of. That Varian will really mandate where you move. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she got picked up there. Crosby dying in the middle lane. As Varian goes in for the hard engage, wow.
So 1 kill on each side, both of them on level 8. So right now it's still it's pretty close, but now you can see that we have for Chromie immediately on level 8 she picks up Temporal Loop. And again, without the cleanse, it's going to be rough. You can play around that a bit if you're going in with a Nubarak, for example, and you drop a quick cocoon and try to negate some of the damage, so that can really help. But this is still a really, really rough sniper setup that we're having for Method. And Trick needs to be super careful around level 10, because once that hits, Method is going to be out for blood, and Method is going to go in and try and just get kills. Yeah,
the moment Temporal Loop comes out, I feel like Trick Esport will have to either A, sacrifice that target, or go for a full engage. You do have a Nubarak that can pop up Chromie and prevent some of the damage from coming in. You also have ETC that can go over and get a knockback, so those are important tools. It's going to be on the tanks here to make sure that Temporal Loop isn't as effective as you would think. Rimmer takes some damage there, but thanks to the Spell Shield, will be able to be fine there and survive the engage coming his way, especially with Grandpa Kit bringing the heals.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird target to go for right away. I feel like they had better options than going for him. But they put some damage in, and they definitely test Trick for now. Level 10s are close by, and of course, it's going to be in time to get the cooldown back for Chromie once that we have the objective again on the map. So far, there's no problem. Level 10s with Varian moving in. That's where the real game, for Method at least, begins.
And those 10s are about to hit. Tyrael's looking top. Trick working on the top as well. And we'll be having one lone altar, too, to have that fight around the corner. In terms of the one altar, it feels like Method will be slightly favored there, as Chromie will be shelling away. Speaking of shelling away, Maka gets landed there with a face full of sand. Good pickup so far.
Good hits against Shrimpy. There's the 10 for both teams. Okay, so now we have Taunt. And this is really when with Chromie you can start making your plays. Shrimpy not going into his ult yet. Are we going to see X-Strike here? They don't really expect it, but he holds it back for a long, long time.
Temporal Loop into a taunt to X-Strike is a possible combo.
Yeah, it is. So is Divine Shot and Dragon Blade, but we could definitely see X-Strike if they feel that they go all in on simply obliterating a single target, but they don't. They go into Dragon Blade instead, and now we have the altar spawning on the map, on the bottom, in another few seconds. ETC, of course, securing extra experience up to the top with Stage Dive. He will be in the fight once needed, but Method is already on the channel, and this is probably gonna let over. There's the fight already. Okay, Taunt at this point, not getting too much done as Chromie's combo is not hitting. Here comes ETC. Nick is low, needs to be careful, and so is Genji. Genji falls.
Alex Pro-G gets the power slide, but also gets the Portal Loop, takes a chunk of damage to the face. Arcanar finally falls as Tyrael will go around and try to get some damage in. Varian locked by himself. Power slide is up again. There it is. Barrel slide into a knockback. Varian being focused, waiting for the protection to go away. Oh my gosh, he keeps protecting. He keeps protecting. Finally, Pulse Bomb comes in. Boom! 4 down.
Yeah, 4 down, and that was nice body blocks there as well. But that was a very ferocious battle here. And now Trick has momentum. They have a level lead, and that can turn the game very quickly against Method, because Trick can now start pushing lanes in, they can start taking those bell towers, and as we said before, one of the big drawbacks of having Varian in your composition is that he lacks a very significant amount of wave clear compared to other side laners or even front tanks that you can take. So at this point, Trick has a really nice momentum build up that can easily head into level 13 that they can take. They can translate that into additional camps that they simply claim, or even move into the mid lane and try to drop the bell tower.
You're talking about wave clear, but what happens when that bell tower does get picked up by Trick Esport that you were just talking about? Method will have a very hard time taking that away. Between Chromie and Genji, it's going to take a while to break it down, especially with Tyrael and Varian as well, not bringing the most siege damage possible.
Yeah, and time is something that they don't necessarily have. So Marke is on half HP, he needs to be healed by Grand Paquette continuously. But the next problem that occurs is again the global. If you find yourself in an even spot, then playing against the globe is already annoying as is, but now they're even behind, and ETC is able to commit to the early 13 for them. And whenever a fight down here starts, a simple stage dive, and there it is, can start the fight up, and they're going for Chromie immediately. There's the time trap already being used, Divine Shield as well, big cooldowns being burned, as we see a massive problem for Varian. He gets focused first, protected already. Here comes the silence out, but Ethereal is low and might fall here, and indeed does.
Balls, Varian also being picked off. Alex the Pro G and crew dance away as Sanctification will be used by Arcane, or indicating that Method want to turn around and force a fight. And Tricked easily takes a pickup, turns around, and looks towards the bell tower.
Yeah, that has to be a bell tower. And if he gets another kill, oh my god, they get the kill as well. They get the kill against Uther, and now they can go for the bell tower. They could even try and get the one in the middle before they channel. With a staggered death here, that's definitely an option for them. So they will claim the altar and they get the extra bell tower. But with a level 13 talent advantage that they have, they could move into the middle first. And it looks actually as if they are thinking about doing it. But Li Ming starts the channel, so they're not completely going all in with this move. We have them instead focusing on the camp. But that's another 5 shots fired. Job well done here. And they are looking stellar in the second game.
So Sappers will be pushing in the bottom. ETC will have stage dive available if he wants to commit to the fight. As Tyrael's up there to match him on experience. 13 needed for Method. Damage coming out from Li Ming and Crosby. Tyrael's able to kite backwards, but here come the Sappers. Waddling their way towards the core, wanting to get that 3 extra damage in.
Yeah, there's just too much dealing with it right now. I don't think they can poke away enough. But we have ETC using the time that he gets through this at the top lane for even more XP, and he starts to push in against the structures. Tyrael is helping out against it, but as you can see, the tower is already about to fall, so that's more experience for Trick. Finally, Method has 13, but it also means that Trick, still 2 levels ahead, is now in a spot where they can soon claim the level 16 talent, especially since we now see a trade for bell towers. The one at the bot lane is going to be reconquered by Method, but in the mid lane, we're now having another one taken away from them. And what that basically does is just trade experience, and trade experience up. And that's in favor of Trick Esports, since they are closer to level 16.
Yeah, even thought about the boss for a second here, but with Varian coming on in, they go ahead and back on up. Don't want to throw the game quite yet. Grabbing the Sappers instead of the top. And that will help them open up this bell tower on the top. If they can get that bell tower, though, during this re-alter phase, there'll be no place for Method to anchor in. And they'll have to give up that top left corner. But Method's grabbing theirs.
They're trying to push the top now. And with the camp that they just took, that's going to be some significant damage. And they can grab it. They can commit to this one easily. And here comes the wraparound, but they still need to go for the bell tower. Okay, they get the bell tower, but here comes the fight. Ethereal is already waiting at the side. Rema Baller finds himself sniffing him out. Okay, here's a challenge. Shouldn't be a problem to move out from this one. Shrimpy with a follow-up attempt, but already the roots on the ground and he himself has to back off. ETC is at the bot lane. That's an easy channel for him. That's 5 shots fired, and then he can still move to the top. Here's already an attempt to zone them out. But now that's currently 14 points on Method's core against 29. And this is a really difficult one to grab for Method.
Trick can play is patient, but they decided to get aggressive. Stage dive comes in, there's a power slide to Sparrow Loop as well. Uther's done. He's already taken out.
Yeah, but so is ETC. ETC is toast, and here comes the Cocoon as they're moving in again. Once more, Varian is protected as we see Arcana saving Shrimpy here, but the channel is starting again, and Athero is trying to interrupt, but already zoned out as Shrimpy is dashing to the side, trying to set up a potential swift strike into the backline, but he can't really move away from this. Once again, Chromie with a damage output, and Nuburak falls, and that was a big kill, especially as Grand Paquette is missing the Twilight Dream.
Uther will be back in 3 seconds too. So Method, if they posture outside here, can work on taking away this altar. Make will be around to harass. There is a minion wave building up to the south side to work on that bell tower eventually, but Method pays no attention to it. They're going to start the channel, and this will give them 3 shots. They're able to get it, and they'll get it as Tricked gives it up.
Against level 16. So really well done getting the 2 kills here. Good job by them, and against the level 16 talent, even more impressive. Now the bot lane, of course, has suffered quite a bit of damage. We can already see that the bell tower is starting to get low here thanks to the wave, and they will claim it now since they move in with an extra camp. Genji is attempting to reclaim the bell tower up at the top lane. But at least for Method, from their perspective, they have level 16, so they can fight on even talents now. So that's a big advantage for them in the situation compared to what we've seen a few seconds earlier. And even without the 16 talent, they already were able to kill 2 targets thanks to the damage combos around Chromie. Tricked is now starting to push the bot lane a bit more aggressively, but up to the top, Shrimpy has now taken the bell tower. So it's again an exchange here. Method still playing from behind, but they're finding opportunities now.
Yeah, they are. Another talent comes in. A new bracket's focused down. Able to kite away, but down to a quarter health. Make on the side here, waiting for him to maybe use a recall if he does at any point to parole. Loop could be used to deal with him.
Now, the next 2 bell towers are in the mid and the bot lane. So that means that if they claim the next to altars, if they claim the bell tower over here, there's no real retreat path for Method. It's going to be really difficult for them to contest the bottom bell tower or the bottom altar. So that's something that they could do now. But that's something that Method also knows, and that's why they're posturing very aggressively around it. The problem with it is, since they have to defend the bottom now, since the bell tower is so low, they have to give up the top lane where ETC is not only claiming another camp, but he starts to gain even more experience for the team.
And the same story that we've seen is available for Tricked Esport. Whenever they decide they want to engage, they can. Oh, but Taunt comes out. Baka gets low on health. Stage dive popped here. Power slide into a combo.
Grand Paquette with a very quick pause here as we are seeing Tricked engage. So I'm wondering who had problems here, but that was... They are the team that actually engaged here, and apparently they had a problem on Marcus' end, and that was when Tracer just started to move in, as it seemed. So the gank, or not really the gank, but the aggression against Tracer didn't work out. They were able to save her, and then the immediate turnaround attempt and trying to go with ETC and a stage dive for Chromie. So bit of an unfortunate situation for a pause, but still before anybody died, and apparently the problem was also on Trick's end, so
yeah,
it kind of makes up for it.
Tricked Esport having the black screen there on the Tracer, so we'll see if she's able to get back in soon, as she will be reconnecting. But so far, we're getting towards this late stage. Tricked is pretty far ahead, but this is do or die now for Method.
Yeah, and we are actually ready. We have to go into this pretty quickly because the fight has just started, so the players just signaled that apparently it was just a screen issue as we are jumping back in. No kills yet, but here's for a loop. They're going for Alex, and Varian is in, and that's the end of ETC. He's down, but look at Arcana. Look at Nick. Both of them low, and Make, he wants the kills, and he gets one, and they get the second one against Varian. So a 2-for-1 trade in Method's, in Tricked's favor.
And Tricked will be able to take the bell tower, and this put them up to 5 shots.
That's potentially a game.
4-2, yeah, because the boss is available at the top as well.
Exactly. So we have 2 bell towers that can be channeled immediately, and then you still have time to go for the boss, and that would be 4 points on the core. So right now, Arcana and his boys, they're just trying to buy time. This is all about buying time, so Trick can't go for the boss afterwards.
Dragon Blade pops, Shrimpy goes in, Silence will connect, but Genji's able to get out the last second. Make comes in for the pulse bomb. Shrimpy's getting low, but the recall has to be popped as he's too low on health. Arcana and Shrimpy disengaging. Curson not as lucky.
So they're losing Uther here, and that could now still be the end, because now they can still make the play for boss in a 5 versus 4 if they wanted to. If they want to chance it here, they could definitely try and pull that off. The shots are fired, and that is Method down to 4 points on the core. And already Arcana is trying to secure the boss and trying to have a quick look here. But Sanctification was used, and Alex is going immediately for it. They know they're coming, they get the damage in, Cocoon is still available, and so is Li Ming's ult as well, can just push them away. Here's the attempt to go for Alex, he's not falling, and this is a game. Shots are fired as Tricked Esports wins game number 2 against Method and ties the series.